Hey guys, Joe DeMarco from the Crazy New York Driver Show. Today is Sunday, November 21st, 2021. Welcome to an exploration video. Today I'm going to be showing you 3 historic pedestrian crossings over the Belt Parkway. In order, the first one is this one, which is located on Shore Parkway by 47th Street. The next one's going to be this one, Shore Parkway near Bay 8th Street. And the last one is going to be this one, which is also located Shore Parkway up by 92nd Street. So that being said, let's get started. And I'm going to tell you that one of these 3 bridges has a direct connection to the Son of Sam killings in the 1970s. And I'll tell you about that as we go along. We're going to start here, Shore Parkway and Bay 46th, which is where I park my car. I walked a block up, and this is the entrance to the first pedestrian walkway. Good news and bad news. The good news is everything on this particular walkway is original. The bad news is they're replacing it. So I basically just got in under the wire here, as you can see. They're in the process of replacing it. And I'm really bummed out about this, okay? 2 of these 3 bridges are going to be replaced. This one is the first one. The railing on the right is original. Anytime you see this low blue railing, it is usually original to the period, which was approximately 1940 when this was built. This is a survivor, an actual functioning, I do believe it's functioning, lamppost from 1940 or thereabouts, and they're telling me that they're going to refurbish it, which I do believe means they're going to take it down, send it out to the shop, strip it down, put in new wiring, and erect it again. But I'm sure they're going to change the globe on it. And anytime they take something down like that and they refurbish it, it's just not original. I like everything to stay original. Original base. It's wonderful that this is still here. And I'm really bummed out that they're going to actually dismantle this. The sign is kind of hard to see. Now, one of the problems with this bridge, it is not handicapped accessible, because back in 1940 they didn't have to build bridges that way. The low railing here on the right is original, but the fence is not. That is an expansion joint. Some deterioration in this spot, but it's not bad at all. That, I do believe, is original. Walking up the stairs, as you can see, the concrete is in pretty good condition. Some erosion, but that's to be expected. That's the Belt Parkway. The right side is heading westbound, left side eastbound. As you can see on the right side, the highway has just been repaved again. I swear to God, they repave this highway every 2 years, whether it needs it or not. If you'll notice on the left side, about 10 years ago, they started putting pavement markers saying low bridge ahead, because tractor trailers are not allowed on this road, and they hit the low bridges, one of which I'm standing on now. That's facing the opposite way. That's facing eastbound. You'll notice that the Belt Parkway is one of the few highways that still employs the old-fashioned metal guardrail. If this highway was to be reconstructed or rebuilt today, this would never pass. That's looking down where I just came from. Take a look at this park right here. We're going to be talking about this in a very big way when we complete the tour of this particular bridge. Now I'm coming down on the other side. The reason for this fencing, by the way, is because people were throwing items onto the highway and hitting cars. This here is original, but I do not believe that the globe is entirely original. Again, it's really nice to see this old girl still standing. There she is. That's where I just came from. Now I'm standing on the eastbound side, and you'll notice you can see where some tractor trailers have hit the bridge here. And the areas where it's dark blue are areas that have actually been cut out in spots and replaced over the years. See, there's a better look at it. They even repainted it. Now, it's clear right here that more than one tractor trailer whacked this section of the bridge. It amazes me because if they would have stayed in the middle lane, there's plenty of room for them to get through. All of these signs are unrealistic. If you're excuse me, if you're a trucker and driving in New York for the first time, these signs are always off by at least a foot. At the lowest point, I would estimate this to be 11 feet, 11 inches, but even then, a tractor trailer would strike the bridge. All right, now we're going to go back in a minute. There's the heavy equipment they moved in because they're going to dismantle the bridge entirely, and I'm so bent out of shape about this. That's the way it looks from the side of the highway. That's where I was just showing you where the tractor trailers hit this particular bridge. This is not one of the most struck bridges on the Beltway, but only last year I know one hit right over here and ripped his roof right off. If I would have thought about it ahead of time, instead of walking all the way over, I could have actually pulled my car in here and taken some good pictures. So yeah, another shot of it. Here's some heavier deterioration that I noticed on the way back over. There's the pavement markings I showed you earlier. There's the old girl in all her majesty. Now I'm on the west side and I'm taking a picture of the bridge. Here you can see the sign says 12-4. It appears to be a little higher on this side. I don't recall a tractor trailer ever striking this bridge on this side, so I imagine it's at least 13-4. Now, earlier I mentioned a correlation between one of the bridges and the Son of Sam killings. This is the bridge and this is the very spot. So here's how it went down. In 1977, the very last killing, or should I say the very last shooting by the Son of Sam took place right here. The victim's car was, if I'm correct, right about here, okay? And the victims were named Robert Violante and Stacy Moskowitz, ages 20 and 19 respectively. They were parked in Robert's 1972 Cadillac right here, okay? And they and other witnesses observed a lone man right here sitting on one of these benches checking them out. He was also observed walking on the service road right here. He then shot the two victims, got into his car, which I believe was parked over here, and by sheer luck was illegally parked, and he received a parking ticket for it, because parking in this area is at a premium, and he was there at nighttime when everybody was home from work. So he got a parking ticket, and that's how the police were actually able to trace him to his Westchester house, which was actually located in Yonkers, New York. So I thought that was very interesting, the correlation between this bridge and the last Son of Sam killing in 1977. If this bridge could only talk, I bet it would have a good story for us. Now we're going to move on to bridge number 2. This one is located a quarter mile from Bay 8th Street. And this is really my favorite pedestrian bridge, and this is the one I wanted to get up on. Unfortunately, it's already been closed because it's been deemed structurally unsafe. So let's go on an exploration of this bridge. I've got some good things to show you. Right now, I pulled off the highway. I'm on the west side so I could get some good pictures of the west side of the bridge. You'll notice here it says 10 feet 0 inches in the right lane, which is not accurate. I think it's probably at least 11, maybe closer to 12. Very rarely do tractor trailers hit this particular bridge because it's pretty hard for them to wind up in this location. But the other side gets hit steadily. And we'll go over there in a minute. But while I got you here, notice this yellow reflective tape that the city put on this bridge so that trucks could see it at nighttime. They even used to have little yellow lights and change hanging down. However, the trucks hit them and obliterated all of them. So yeah, that's a look at the other side. That's the side the trucks really did a number on it. And when we go over there, you'll get a better look. There's a close-up of the side that I'm on now, the west side. Okay. Now what I did was I parked the car on Bay 8th Street and I walked over the other bridge, and now I'm on the walkway here. And yes, it is not unusual to see people fishing here. I'm going to walk all the way up here where you can see the bridge, and we're going to check it out. Now, unfortunately, the construction company has fenced off the entire perimeter. I mean, they don't want anybody even near the freaking place. But I'll get as close as I can. See? Low bridge. See all the yellow tape? But they still whack it. Here I'm on the side of the highway. You can see there's plenty of room in the left lane or the middle lane for a truck to get through. But I'm telling you, it's like a magnet to steel. They get off that Verrazano Bridge and they get on this Bell Parkway going east where they're not supposed to be, and trust me, there are tons of signs, but they still do it and they hug that right lane like it's gold and they whack it. Here it says 10-6. It's more like 11-6, but still, there's not enough room there. Now, if you think that's bad, years ago, this thing was so bent in that they had a crew come in and cut out a large section of the beam and they replaced it. And the contractor who replaced it had the balls to put his name on the beam itself. He wrote he wrote fixed by, and his initials, whatever they were, A, B. And it was there for years until so many trucks obliterated it once again. This one's been hit so many times that it somehow knocked off a piece of the reflective tape. And there's a better view of it. Unfortunately, it's been condemned. I've been up here years ago, so I know exactly what's up there. It's similar to the other bridge in some ways, but not all of them. You can see there's the classic blue railing and steps from 1940. There's a nice shot. This fence, of course, was added on years earlier, and you'll notice how it bends inward on top to make it hard for people to throw bottles and debris off onto the roadway to hit cars. And yes, they do that kind of thing. Here's a close-up view of the area that's most struck. This is not the original globe. If you remember from the bridge we just visited, the original one is more of a rounded globe. This is a replacement. However, the mast itself is original. And I'm just going to read this to you briefly, if I may. Project description. The project will fully replace the existing structure. Inspired in its historic design, the steel arch bridge will consist of a new roadway, suspenders, stringers, and floor beams, ADA ramps, pedestrian railings, historic light poles, and a new drainage system will be installed. The curb, sidewalks, and pavement markings along the service road will also be restored. They're replacing the bridge with a copycat, all right? They're going to make it look old and look period correct, but it won't be, because this is the original bridge. There's your mast. There's a look at the bridge itself. I've been up there. And there is some damage to the undercarriage, which I'll show you shortly. Shameful. I had fully intended to get up on there, but it's fenced off and I can't. Now I want you to look over here. This is all planking that the city put up to keep the concrete from falling down onto the cars. Because there are two things that are causing the erosion. Number one, the salt from the salt water that I just showed you earlier, right behind me. And number two, the trucks striking this bridge. This is the most struck area, and you can clearly see that this has been a replacement beam right here. Look, see that? That's replacement. And if you look real close over here, you can see scrape marks on this side. And years of trucks hitting this bridge took its toll. This is the way it looks, as I said, today. I've got a little treat for you. I've got a picture that I took back in 2009 of this same bridge standing in the same location. I'll show it to you in a minute. There's a better look at the reinforcement wood planking. See it? Without that, trust me, the concrete would be falling down onto the roadway. We don't want that. There's another view of it. Here is my picture from the year 2009 when I took some pictures of this bridge. You can clearly see the difference from 2009 to today. Unbelievable. Okay, on to bridge number 3, which is located at 92nd Street and Shore Parkway up in Bay Ridge. This bridge can be accessed right at 92nd Street and Shore Parkway by entering from the park entrance like I'm going to do now. Walking down the steps, and the bridge will be on your left. This bridge is a lot different in construction and design than the previous two I've showed you. Personally, I like the previous two arch bridges, the Robert Moses Specials, a lot better than I like this bridge. But this one is still interesting, historic, and photogenic in its own right, so let's examine it. You can see right here, it says clearance. It looks like 12.7, but really it's 13.7 or maybe more, and I have never, ever seen a tractor trailer hit this bridge. The center is probably 14 feet clearance. Original railing to the period, that's good news. Here, the bridge is basically straightforward. There are no steps to climb except the ones we just took down from the park. Now look, this railing, the lower railing, is original from when the bridge was made. I believe this railing was an add-on because imagine you're walking across this bridge and you're 6 feet tall. This railing is very low and it would give you a very uncomfortable feeling because it's too low. All right? This brings to mind the railing on the original bridge, the High Bridge up in the Bronx. I've taken you on that tour a while back, but it reminds me of that story and that situation. That's the Bell Parkway. I'm looking west right now. As you can see, the road is smooth as silk, traffic is light, and we had an unbelievably clear day. It was supposed to be mostly cloudy with peaks of sun, but my good old friend and very elusive friend, the sun, did make an appearance. Just for the record, over here, if you're driving on this Bell Parkway, don't do over 50 miles an hour because the highway cops sit there all day and night just writing tickets. They are very pervasive. This would be looking eastbound. You'll see this section of the Bell Parkway was rebuilt, I'm guessing about 1980 for the divider. See, this is the concrete divider. This is the strong divider made to industry standards as opposed to that metal guardrail I showed you earlier. You can see that this has been repaved recently And like I said, every 2 or 3 years they repave this. 2 fences, original and add-on. Some deterioration is evident, as you would expect. That is not an original lighting fixture or even close. You can see the top, the globe is very new. Stairs coming down. Now we're on the bicycle or walking path underneath the bridge. The sign here says 11.9. That is an absolute bull-faced lie. This has got to be at least 15 feet clearance right here. And at the lowest end right here, I'd say it's about 13. I'd say maybe 12.9 or 13, because there is some evidence that some tractor trailers scraped on the right side. If they would have stayed in the middle, they would have been fine. This light does not work, and it's been out of commission, I guess, as long as I've been around. I've never seen a light working there. You can see the undercarriage doesn't look all that bad. Here, there's rust because of all the scrape marks. There, you can get a better look at that. This was supposed to be a lighting fixture, long gone, and the birds have taken that over. Scrape marks, opposite side of the bridge. Deterioration. Here come some bicyclers, and please guys, if you're going to walk on this path, stay alert, because whether you're on this path or any of the bridges, especially the George Washington bridges, these guys are unforgiving. Many of them will run you right down. So that's why they have this dividing line here. Like one side is supposed to be pedestrians, one side bikers, but it doesn't always work that way. This is underneath the ramp to get back up on the bridge. You can see there's deterioration, so they put one of those screens over it. And more of that. Heavier deterioration here. Original railing. Going back up the stairs now. Going to take one last look at the bridge, which, as you can see, like I said earlier in the video, it looks a lot different. Okay, railing. I like this scrolling lattice work here, and I'm not sure exactly when that was put up. It's quite old though. Now, basically, that is the end of our tour of the 3 bridges. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. It was a lot of work and a lot of walking and climbing to make this video. But if you guys like it, that makes it worthwhile. I myself had a good time, and I'd like you guys to make some comments on any of the bridges you would like to talk about, or even the Son of Sam incident that I talked briefly about, or anything about the Son of Sam if you want. Because, you know, I'm actually thinking about making an entire Son of Sam video, but there's so many out there right now, so I really don't think that we need another one on YouTube. But it's the first time in my life that I ever heard of the term serial killer. I was a kid in the 70s, but I remember how scared people were in New York City, how girls were dyeing their hair and cutting their hair because they were scared of this crazy psycho killer. But guys, thank you for watching my video. I'm Crazy New York Driver, and you're not. Please leave some comments, and I will see you again in the very near future. Rock on, and peace!